Hi Year 3 and welcome to your first comprehension lesson this week. So today is Monday the 22nd of February 2021 and it's your first day back after half term. So for comprehension, you will be doing a fiction text with me today. So we will be using our skills, exam style question skills to answer our questions, and we will then do a practice text like we do every other week. So while this text is being read to you, I want you to concentrate on the following listening questions, okay? So why did the king of Athens send the young people away to be fed to the Minotaur? What did Theseus intend to do? And what did Ariadne want Theseus to do in return for her help? Okay, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something new. I am going to get the person to read the story to you, okay? And then the story's name is Theseus and the Minotaur by Kate Ruttle, okay? So what I would like you to do is just make sure that you listen to the story carefully and follow the text as it's being read. Okay, and now we'll start listening to it.
Theseus and the Minotaur by Kate Ruttle. King Minos lived on a Greek island named Crete. Every 9 years, the king of nearby Athens gave King Minos 7 young men and 7 young women as a peace offering, so that Minos would not attack Athens. The young people were sent to a maze beneath Minos's palace, where the Minotaur lived. This fearsome monster had the body of a strong man, but the head of a bull. The Minotaur ate anyone who entered the maze. Prince Theseus of Athens stormed at his father. "It's wrong that we are sending our youths to be eaten by Minos's monster. This year I will go as one of the 7 young men. But I will not be eaten. Instead, I will slay the monster." When the young people from Athens arrived on Crete, they were met by King Minos's daughter, Ariadne. Immediately she fell in love with Prince Theseus and vowed to help him to kill the monster if, in return, Theseus would help her to escape from the island. That night, Theseus slipped out of the palace and went to the entrance of the labyrinth, where the Minotaur lived. Ariadne met him and returned his sharp sword, which had been taken from him, along with a ball of string. "When you enter the labyrinth," she said to him, "tie the string to the door, unroll it as you go through the maze. That way you will be able to find your way back to me. And as for the sword, well, you know what to do with that."
Okay, great. So I hope that you enjoyed the text being read to you by the man. I sure did. So I hope you were listening, using your listening skills to help you answer the listening questions. So the first thing says, why did the king of Athens send the young people away to be fed to the Minotaur? So why do you think they were being sent to the Minotaur? Okay, so if you look at the first paragraph, it says every 9 years the king of nearby Athens gave King Minos 7 young men, okay, and 7 young women as a peace offering, so that Minos would not attack Athens. Okay, so the young people were sent to a maze beneath Minos's palace where the Minotaur lived. So the reason they were given is so that Athens wouldn't be attacked by the Minotaur. or by King Minos, okay? What did Theseus intend to do? So Theseus, if you look on the second paragraph, Theseus intended to go this time round because his intention was to kill the Minotaur, okay? Then it says, what did Ariadne want Theseus to do in return for her help? She wanted, if you look at this paragraph, the third paragraph, it says Theseus would help her to escape from the island. So she wanted, in return, she wanted Theseus to protect her and help her escape from the island. Okay, now like we do with every other lesson, we are going to go through the questions and learn how to answer them. Okay. So now these skills are very important because these are exam skills which are needed for exam style questions, okay? And these skills also help you to answer any questions for any text, not just exams, okay? Now, you need to remember that when a question has a two-part question, you need to answer it in two parts. If a question has 1 mark and it's asking you to do one thing, you do the one thing. You always focus on the amount of marks the question has because you need to get those number of marks. Now, if a question is telling you to find and copy, you need to find exactly what it's asking you to find and copy it exactly the way it is in the text. If it's giving you statements like true and false, okay, you need to follow what the question's saying. If it's asking you to put it in order, you put the answers in order. Okay, so you need to make sure you understand what the question is asking you to do. So now let's go to question number 1. So question number 1 says, look at the first paragraph. Because it says look at the first paragraph, we'll only be looking at the first paragraph, which is here, okay, which is this paragraph here. Okay, now it says find and copy 2 words that mean a gift given to someone so they won't start a fight or continue an argument. So it's saying find and copy 2 words that mean when you give a gift to someone, they won't fight or argue. So it says in paragraph 1, which is this whole paragraph here, King Minos lived on a Greek island named Crete. Every 9 years, the king of nearby Athens gave King Minos 7 young men and 7 young women as a peace offering, so that Minos would not attack. So now we know that not attack means to fight. So now, so that Minos wouldn't fight, because so that Minos wouldn't fight, the king from Athens gave him a peace offering of 7 young men and 7 young women. So now I think that is the correct answer because I found the words that mean that, but also it's 2 words. So I'm going to copy it and I'm going to write it here, peace offering. Now let's check if it's correct. Yep, that's correct. Fantastic. Now we'll go back to question number 2. So question number 2 says the Minotaur was a dangerous monster. Find evidence to support this statement. You do not have to copy words. So it says you do not have to copy words. So don't worry about copying words. It just says find this statement. So now if I go through the text, I know at the end of paragraph 1, they talk about the Minotaur, and it says the young people were sent to a maze beneath Minos's palace where the Minotaur lived. This fearsome monster had a body of a strong man but a head of a bull. The Minotaur ate anyone who entered the maze. So I know that is showing me that he is dangerous. Okay, that whole section is showing me that he is dangerous. So I am going to write down, it says You do not have to copy, but find evidence to support this. So I am going to say that the Minotaur ate people, okay, because it says the Minotaur ate anyone who entered the maze. So this shows that he is dangerous. Now let me check it. Fantastic. So my answer is right. It says it ate people. Now, if you've got any of these three answers, then you get 1 mark. So you just need one answer, one piece of evidence, okay? So if you've got it ate people, it was fearsome, it had the body of a strong man and the head but the head of a bull. If you've got one of those, any one of those, then you get 1 mark. Okay? Fantastic, year 3. Now I'm going to go back to the questions, and I'm going to go to question number 3. So question number 3 says, the writer states that Theseus stormed at his father. How does this tell us how does this tell us he was feeling? Okay, choose one. Was he feeling aggressive, determined, excited, or disappointed? So it says here, choose one, okay? And your keywords here are the writer states that Theseus stormed at his father. How does this tell us how he is feeling? Choose one. I'm going to go back to the text and I'm going to go to paragraph number 2, because paragraph number 2 talks about when Prince Theseus stormed at his father. So it says here, we need to read all of it to understand which word describes it, his feeling the best. Prince Theseus of Athens stormed at his father. It's wrong that we are sending our youths to be eaten by Minos's monster. This year I will go as one of the 7 young men, but I will not be eaten. Instead, I will slay the monster. The fact that he wants to slay the monster and he is saying that he will not be eaten and he stormed in shows that he was in a very aggressive mood. That is what I feel, okay? Because stormed is a very aggressive action, okay? Disappointed is a sad action. Excited is a jolly action. So when you're excited, you're not going to be storming in. If you're determined, you're not going to be storming in, because determined and excited are positive feelings. If you think back to our PSHE lesson before half term, remember we were talking about feelings? Yeah, so determined and excited are positive feelings. However, aggressive is a negative feeling. So when you think of aggressive, you will be storming around, like throwing a tantrum. So I think the best word is aggressive. I'm going to copy it to my Crackit, and I am going to write aggressive because that is the option that it's given. Oh, sorry, year 3. That is the option that is given me here. Okay, now let me check if that's correct. Yay, that's correct. Fantastic. So now I am going to go back to all my questions and I will go to question number 5. So question number 5 says, what did Ariadne expect Theseus to do with the sword? Now, the best way to answer that question will be to go back to our text and try and find some evidence, or try to see what the text is saying for us to read between the lines for us to make a judgment on what our answer will be. So I know paragraph 1 was about a peace offering. Paragraph 2 was about Prince Theseus storming at his father. Now paragraph 3 is where he met Ariadne, and it says, when the young people from Athens arrived on Crete, they were met by King Minos's daughter Ariadne. Immediately she fell in love with Prince Theseus and vowed to help him to kill the monster if, in return, Theseus would help her to escape from the island. Okay, so the question is saying, what did Ariadne expect Theseus to do with the sword? Okay, So she also says you know what to do with it. So she expected him to basically kill him. Okay, so she expected, oh, I think I missed a question, but I'll go back to that in a second. So I think I'm on question 5 now. So she expected him to kill the Minotaur. So if you go to the last paragraph when they're talking about the sword, it says here, that way you will be able to find your way back to me. And as for the sword, you know what to do with it. So what do you, when people talk like that, they're giving you hints. So what hint do you think she was giving him? Fantastic. She wanted him to kill the Minotaur with the sword. Okay. Now that is the correct answer. Fantastic. So I had accidentally clicked on question number 5, but I was meant to click on question number 4. Now I'm going to do question number 4. So question number 4 says, why did Ariadne vow to help Theseus? So now I know paragraph number 3 is about when Theseus and Ariadne met and they had a little encounter, so they spoke. And it says here, immediately she fell in love with Prince Theseus and vowed to help him to kill the monster if, in return, Theseus would help her to escape from the island. So now why do you think she helped him? Why do you think she helped him? Fantastic. So she thought if he kills the monster, so she thought if he kills the monster, then he can save her. Okay. So if he kills the Minotaur, then that means she helped him, and in return he would help her. Okay, so now this is a 1-mark question, and it's just asking you you know, why did she choose to help him? So in the text, the evidence I found is immediately she fell in love with him and she wanted to escape. So those two are the reasons I possibly think she vowed to help him. Now, if you check the answer, fantastic. So it says, except answer that recognizes either of the following. So if you've mentioned in any of your answers that she fell in love with him and didn't want him to be hurt by the Minotaur, or if you've mentioned she thought that she'd help him so she could get help, then you are correct. If any of your answers show any of those two, then you are correct. Okay, now question number 6. So question number 6 says, choose whether the following statements are true or false. So this means when you are choosing your statements, you need to make sure that you write T if it's true and F if it's false. So it says the Minotaur ate the people. I think that is true. Okay, because in the text here it says the Minotaur ate anyone who entered the maze. Then it says the Minotaur lived in the palace. I think that's false, because it says the Minotaur lived. The young people were sent to a maze beneath Minos's palace where the Minotaur lived. So he didn't live in the palace, he lived beneath the palace in a maze. So that is false. Then it says the Minotaur lived in Athens, and that is false because he didn't live in Athens. He lived on a Greek island named Crete, because that is where King Minos is from, and the Minotaur lived under King Minos's palace. Then it says the Minotaur had the head of a man and the body of a bull. Okay, is that true? Let's go and check. It says this fearsome monster had the body of a strong man and the head of a bull. So that's false because it's got it the wrong way around. So I am going to write statement number 1 is true. Statement number 2 is false. Statement number 3 is false. And then statement number 4 is false. Now let's check it. Fantastic. So I got that correct. Well, Now that we have done all of our questions here, like all of our other comprehension lessons, it is your chance and your turn to do the independent text. Okay, so if you just bear with me a second. So this is your independent text. So you're going to be, I'll read it to you, then I want you to read it by yourself, and then you answer it yourself. Okay, so now this is your independent text. It's called Odysseus and the Trojan Horse by Damien Harvey. Okay, and then underneath it you have your comprehension question sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause on the first few questions for you. So questions 1 to 6. I'll pause on questions 1 to 6. And now I'll pause on questions 7 to 9. And all you need to do is pause the screen and quickly write them down if you need to. Now, I'm going to read the text to you, and I want you to follow the text with your eyes, okay, while I'm reading it. Okay, so Odysseus and the Trojan Horse by Damien Harvey. The ancient Greek commander Odysseus led his army to war with Troy. The Greek army tried their best to climb the walls and to break down the gates of the Trojan city, but it was no use. The walls were too high and the gates were too strong. The Trojans fought them off every time. Odysseus paused for a moment. We must get into the city, he thought, but how can we do it? Then clever Odysseus had an idea. Build me a great wooden horse, he ordered, and make it big enough for me and my men to fit inside. No one really knew what Odysseus was up to, but for many days and nights the Greeks worked hard to build a huge wooden horse. When it was ready, Odysseus led his men inside. Now we will trick the Trojans, he said. The Greek armies burnt their camps and pretended to sail back to Sparta, leaving only the wooden horse behind on the beach. When the Trojans saw the Greeks sailing away, they raced down onto the beach. They could only hardly believe their eyes. We've won, they cheered. The Greeks have gone, and look, they cried, admiring the great wooden horse. The Greeks have left us a gift. So we're here, over here, yeah, line number 23. Together, the Trojans pushed the horse up the beach and towards the gates of Troy. Inside, Odysseus and his men were keeping very quiet. Don't make a sound, hushed Odysseus. He knew that if the Trojans heard them, his plan would fail. Okay, now, so what you need to do is answer the questions and make sure that you post your work onto Tapestry, okay? And what I will do is I will have the answers sent out to you, and your teachers can attach it to your class team chats if you need them, okay? All right, well done, year 3, and have a good day. Bye.